Hi, and welcome to the Strong by Design podcast. I'm your host today, Coach Tonya Fines, and I'm joined today by Dr. Travis Zigler, who is known as the dry eye expert. And by the end of this podcast, you're going to know exactly why that is. Dr. Zigler, welcome to the show.
Tonya, thanks for having me on.
Lovely to have you. So I did some snooping around and background looking into all the things that you're doing and what you're up to. And just to give our audience a little bit of a background, you are an optometrist, but you're also a philanthropist. And that's what really drew me to wanting to get you on the show is you have this profession, but you're using it as a means to do some really cool things in the world, which I do want to talk about, both you and your wife. You are a graduate from the Ohio State University. You graduated magna cum laude with honors, which is very impressive.
My wife graduated summa, so.
Oh, okay, well, there you go. Oh, not a competitive couple at all. Wow, okay, in the house. And you are also the founder of I Love, and the mission, I love this. Your mission is to heal 1 million dry eye sufferers naturally and to end preventable blindness. And I think that's the cool stuff that I'm talking about. So again, welcome to the show. And please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I can go all the way back to 2006. So we're going to go back 15 years.
Okay.
When my wife and I were both in optometry school, she was a year under me. And in 2007, we went on our very first mission trip, and we actually went to Ecuador as students. And in Ecuador, we did about 2,000, more like 1,500 eye exams. And it was we literally flew into Guayaquil and we drove 6 hours into the slums of Ecuador, very rural area, nowhere near a city, no access to eye care. And we just performed eye exams, and we gave people glasses that couldn't afford glasses, nor could they obtain glasses. And so I will never forget putting a pair of reading glasses on somebody for the first time, a pair of reading glasses that you and I can just go to the store and pick up for $1.
Yeah.
But this lady was probably in her 70s, and I put her first pair of reading glasses on her. She thought she was blind. She thought she could no longer read. And you put reading glasses on her, and she just breaks down in tears because she can read again. She can read her Bible. She can work again. And when you have that moment, you will never go back to wanting to do anything else in life, really. Mission work will humble you in more ways than you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And it kind of changes the desire that you want in life. And so me as a second-year student, my wife as a first-year student, we knew our lives had been changed. And there was also somebody on that trip that had a really bad red eye, and he had glaucoma, and he unfortunately had lost vision from that. But his pressure was 80. His internal eye pressure was 80, and normal is under 20. And so he was in extreme pain. Just imagine that pressure. It's literally pressure. And so what we did in the clinic is we brought his pressure down. And after we brought him down, this is like a hard-nosed 80-year-old farmer. And he just broke down in tears as well and grabbed me, hugged me, and just said, "God bless you, God bless you, God bless you." So those are kind of the two moments that changed my life forever. Mm-hmm. And we knew we wanted to do this for the rest of our lives. Now, we graduated in 2010 and 2011 from optometry school. We started working for my uncle, and we predicted that we'd get back to that mission work when we were like 55, 60 and going full time on that. And what happened is that I wasn't happy working for my uncle. There was just something missing. I was happy, but there's just something just clawing at me to do more. And so we did the 3 things you're not supposed to do. We quit our jobs. We moved across the country from Ohio to South Carolina, and we started 2 businesses. Wow. And we started 2 practices from nothing, from scratch, essentially. We actually bought a practice, but I say it's from scratch because the practices were actually going downhill because unfortunately the doctor was an alcoholic, and it was a practice that was just in disrepair. And so we kind of saw it as a challenge and we jumped in. But when you start a practice, and especially one that's got a negative kind of vibe in the community, you're slow. You only have like 1 patient an hour. And I came from a place I was seeing 5 patients an hour. So business was a little slow at first, but what that caused is for us to start an online company called I Love. And I Love, we started out as a sunglass company, but since we've morphed into more of a dry eye company, and we consider ourselves dry eye experts, we teach dry eye just a little differently. We treat it a little differently. We don't take a typical Western medicine approach. We take more of an Eastern with a combination of a little bit of Western medicine. And so we'll probably get into that a little bit more later. But what we saw is from 2015 to 2018, we were growing all 3 of these businesses, 2 practices and the e-commerce business. And what was happening is we saw this acceleration curve for our practices, And then the internet curve, our e-commerce business was like double. And so we made the conscious effort in 2017 to sell our first practice and just go part-time practicing at our second practice and really focus on the online space. And then at the end of 2017, beginning of 2018, we sold our second practice and went all in on this. And it's now 3 years later, and we've been full-time e-commerce since then, and we haven't regretted it. And so what we do with our business now is we're trying to get to 1 million dry eyes sufferers, excuse me, and then we're going to heal them naturally. And then what we do is we take the profits from iLove, a percentage of the profits. Actually, we take a percentage of the top line revenue and we put it to our charity. And then our charity is the one that's trying to end preventable blindness. And ending preventable blindness is just a fancy 3 words that says giving people glasses that can't afford nor obtain glasses, because that's blindness that's preventable. Yeah. But if you're in a third world country in the rural areas, you can't get glasses. And so our goal is to prevent or to end that. And there's 1 billion with a B people blind due to lack of glasses. And so that brings us to today.
Hey?
What's that?
That's a staggering number. I mean, I knew it would be high, but when you say 1 billion, that just, I don't know. I'm at a loss of words.
It's about 12 to 13% of the whole world just doesn't have access to glasses that needs them. Wow. And so that's what we've kind of went with our charity mission work. And the fun thing now is, we'd go on 1 trip every 3 years when we were practicing, maybe. Now we get to go on 3 trips a year, despite, COVID's around right now, but yeah. But we get to go on 3 trips a year, usually 2 to 3. And we have 1 3-year-old and another baby on the way. And we still have the help to be able to go on. They've been on trips too. Our son's been on trips. So that's where we're at now. We focus on this online e-commerce business. We have a team built around that. And one of the benefits of working for us is we take you on a mission trip with us. So it's truly life-changing, and we want everybody to experience it. And that's why we bring them with us, because we know that once they come with us on a mission, that they're pretty much hooked for life into this business, and they'll want to work their tails off so they can help more people. Wow.
That is, I'm at a loss for words. Again, you've got this profession that does a great thing. Cause, I've always been blessed. I've been very blessed with good eyesight, but all of a sudden I hit 45. And when my job became pretty much in front of the computer all the time, wow, things started to change really quick. So I'm one of the lucky ones. I go to Walgreens and I pick up a couple pairs now. I have them everywhere of reading glasses, because without them, I would not be able to work, because it's gone from just wearing them to reading a book and just wearing them to looking at the computer to pretty much all the time. Like, cause without them, I'm doing my arms aren't short enough or long enough or high enough or low enough. Yeah. It's really bad.
It's the trombone effect.
Yes. So I'm very lucky. Even if, and it happens because I don't spend a lot of money on my reading glasses because I use so many of them. I probably go through a couple pairs every few months, but if these broke right now or broke today, I would just grab my keys, hop in the car, 5 minutes up the road is a pharmacy. I'd pick up a few more pairs and come back. And the fact that I can do that, I don't even think twice about it. But the fact that without it, that would be a massive impact on my life. And there's people that is the reality of their life.
Yeah.
And one of the main, me, but it makes me so happy that you're giving them this freedom.
Yeah. And one of the main things that a good example of how this helps them is a fisherman. So we work a lot in the Caribbean. And so Caribbean islands, there's lots of fishermen, lots of people that need to be lining hooks, and they lose the ability to line their hook. And so they lose their profession that they've been in for 30 years, and they have to become a beggar on the streets. Oh. And so they completely lose that. And then you throw a pair of readers on them and they can do it again. It's so simple to us, but to them, it's astounding, because it's something that they didn't even think twice about. They just thought they were going blind, and now they can see again.
I did want to get to the dry eye thing, because I think that is something that is fairly, I think I know several people that suffer with dry eyes, and they're using the drops and they're doing all this. And when I say, well, what are you eating? They kind of look at me like I've got two heads. And I'm like, no, it's like, seriously, what are you eating as far, because what you're putting into your body, it's using that to do all sorts of things, as far, last time I checked, your eyes are a part of your body. So maybe we have a connection here. I don't know.
It's a big connection.
Yeah. I'm just trying to be very, very subtle. Like, well, have thought about your diet. Talk to us about that. Cause I think there's a lot of people in the US. I know you will know the numbers. I don't have the numbers, but the number of people that suffer with dry eyes.
So in the US alone, 40 million. And so It's about 15.
Did you hear that, folks?
40 million people suffer from dry eye here in the US. And the problem with eye drops is they don't do anything.
It's a Band-Aid.
It's a Band-Aid for an overall problem. It's like having eczema on your skin or really dry skin and just trying to put lotion on it over and over and over again. The lotion is just a Band-Aid. You have a bigger symptom. And so what we do we have a book called Rethinking Dry Eye Treatment. And the reason we called it that is because the Western medicine way to treat dry eye is warm compresses, steroids, and anti-inflammatory drops. And so you're reducing the inflammation. And how we have taken the approach is, what if the inflammation is caused from an overall systemic or body inflammation?
Right.
And what if we took that down? And if we get that down, it might reduce the inflammation in your eyes, which will then reduce your dry eye. And so when you take it from an approach like that, you're treating your overall being, your overall
It's a holistic approach.
Exactly. And so the reason this happened, just to give you a little backstory on that, is my wife and I were told we couldn't have children. And this was back in 2015. So we moved to South Carolina and we were going to start trying to have children. And we tried everything in Western medicine except for IVF. We did not go the IVF route. And the reason we didn't do that is because we woke up that morning and we're just like, there's got to be something else. And we just didn't want to put my wife's body through that. And there's nothing wrong with IVF. It works for a lot of people, but we just wanted to explore something different. And so we explored Eastern medicine. And we went to acupuncture, tried herbal remedies. And then we just changed our diet slightly. We were already vegetarian and we ran marathons, so we're extremely healthy, but we just tweaked it a little bit by adding some really healthy fats as well.
Okay.
And so we're vegetarian, we're dairy-free, we're gluten-free, wheat-free. And then we just added a lot more avocados and organic coconut oil and organic olive oil. We just added a lot more, and nuts as our main snack. And we were pregnant in 3 months.
Wow.
And so it was just this light bulb moment. Like, if Western medicine did all that and Eastern medicine did this so quickly, like, what if we applied this to dry eye? And so we started teaching people with dry eye this whole philosophy, and we make it very simple. We're not saying like, stop eating everything.
Right.
People
won't do that. They just won't do that.
So week 1, we teach them to replace their breakfast with a green smoothie. That's a very simple step that you can take. And a green smoothie is incredibly healthy. A lot of people are like, that's disgusting. I hate spinach. I hate kale, but I love green smoothies. And I put both of them in my smoothies because you don't taste it.
Right.
And when you replace your breakfast with a green smoothie, almost every single breakfast food is inflammatory. Bacon, sausage, bagels, donuts, cereal, dairy, everything's inflammatory. And so when you just replace it with a green smoothie, I'm not saying eliminate those things yet. Right. Then we replace it. What we notice is that after a week, their symptoms have reduced dramatically. And then after 21 days, it's reduced even more. And we actually did a side-by-side test, a survey, and it's called the OSDI survey. It's the Ocular Surface Disease Index. And it's a wide range survey for like studies and all that. And we compared our results with the Green Smoothie Challenge for 21 days to Restasis, which is like the main drug out there. And our scores destroyed the prescription eye drop for dry eye.
Really? That's encouraging. I hope just say that one more time. We need to reiterate that one more time.
So this is an unofficial study, just to say this is our own internal data. We took this survey for the dry eye, and the results from just a 21-day green smoothie challenge, replacing your breakfast with a green smoothie, were a lot more. I'm not going to go into numbers because I don't want to say any numbers exactly. They were a lot more effective than the Restasis eye drop that is the most prescribed dry eye drug in the world. And so just think about that. You don't have to take a drop that stings and burns that costs you $900 for a 90 day supply. Yeah. Instead, you can eat something healthy. But here's the best part of the whole thing is after that 21 days, after that green smoothie challenge, we had them do other stuff too. And we actually made it into an 8-week dry eye boot camp challenge now. And so we do one simple thing every week now, and it's free. But after that initial study, what we found, like, what else have you noticed is what we asked them. My arthritis is gone. I've had a kink in my neck for the last 40 years and it's gone. My dry skin is gone. My eczema is gone. My rosacea is gone. And so we were just decreasing the inflammation in the entire body, and it was clearing up everything. And I'm a good case study for this as well. I have eczema really bad. I have rosacea really bad, and I have arthritis really bad. But I never notice them unless I eat wheat or gluten. And it takes me about 5 days of eating wheat or gluten to really start to notice problems. And so it's from leaky gut. And so go into leaky gut just a little bit. That's just where your stomach is open, or your intestines have openings in their walls, and stuff is getting through there that shouldn't get through there. It's just like having cuts on your skin. You don't want cuts on your skin because then pathogens can get in. Same thing with your gut. You want those to be sealed. And if they have cracks in them, like cracks on your skin, then stuff is going to get through, like gluten and wheat. Gluten and wheat are toxic to our bodies. So then we create this immune response to them, and then we have inflammation in the body. And so when that happens to me, I get arthritis in my knees where I can barely even walk. And then I get eczema all over my hands, and I get rosacea all over my face. And so I am a prime example of, if you eat poorly, you will have symptoms. The problem though is that people are eating these things all the time. Yeah. And they've learned to live with the symptoms.
Right. And again, what you're familiar with.
Normal. It's
your normal. It's your normal. And even, and I've had this discussion with so many guests on the show, because we're always talking about health and wellness topics, is that the normal, even if normal doesn't feel good, it's what we're familiar with. Like, there's no surprises. Like, we know that, I know I'm going to wake up and that probably by noon I'm going to have a headache. My eczema is going to start getting itchy. That's our normal, but it's familiar, even though it doesn't feel comfortable. So we accept it, which is really a really sad way to go through life.